all ages.
Yay!
You get to the right page here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get this started, shall we? Our first guest is a voice actress best known for voicing Pan in Dragon Ball GT. Her anime credits also include Fruits Basket, the reboot, Yu Yu Hakusho, Case Closed, Kitty Grade, Spiral, Burst Angel, Girls Bravo, and many other roles. Her video game credits include Pan in multiple Dragon Ball games, Paladins, New Horizons, Noir in Paladins, Armory Easelstein in Full Metal Alchemist, and The Broken Angel, Hostess Missy in Aeon Flux. Guys, welcome to the stage, Elise Baughman! We got the kids cheering, and then I also have this one. I bring my own crowd with me. Right? Because it's like if I make a joke and nobody laughs,
See, I need that all the time.
you just gotta bring your own laugh track. It's great.
Hello, everybody. Good to see you.
Hi!
Welcome. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm super excited for this. We talked
May.
Yeah.
May
Powerhouse
in
Comic-Con.
Powerhouse Comic-Con,
Powerhouse
and it was
Comic-Con.
amazing
Oh,
talking to you.
You have to say that I'm right here.
And no, you really are still one of our favorite interviews.
I'd say it behind your back.
Oh, you would say it behind my back? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that too. I had so much fun with these guys in May. It was really fun.
Awesome.
And we've stayed in touch since
Yeah,
then
yeah.
as
Yes.
well on social
We missed you
media.
in Yuba City or something like that. Just
Oh,
missed you.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tried to connect in Yuba City as
Yeah.
well. Mhm.
Okay, so sorry, we're catching up right now.
Old friends catching up.
Yes.
Before we get into Dragon Ball and anything else, we have a segment on our show called Growing Up Geeky.
Okay.
So, what did you geek out on when you were a kid?
Well, I did geek out on things that, well, I loved animation because I didn't discover anime until I actually got the audition for Pan. I love organizing, so that's geeky because I was the one who I would sit. See, this is so geeky.
It's totally geeky.
My
Welcome to
parents
being
were,
a nerd.
my parents were like, "Can you just watch a movie without literally organizing your sock drawer?" I had to be organizing or doing something. What else? I mean, I played sports, and I don't know if that counts, but like whatever I get into, I go 100%. So whether it was sports or organizing, like that's probably what I'd be doing if I weren't an actor. I'd be a professional organizer. I loved animated films, and so I always wanted to get the film and own it. I think those are some of the things that
It sounds like you're very, what is that, tactile?
Oh, yes.
Like you have to okay, this is gotta be perfect, it's gonna be good.
Also known as OCD.
I mean, there's so
Whatever.
many different.
You call it
Wait, what
tactile.
sports did you play? I want to know what sports.
Everything. Softball, I was a gymnast, I was a cheerleader, I played basketball. I played a little bit of everything.
That's awesome. Awesome. My son is in gymnastics right now.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I taught gymnastics. So I heard you talking about me coaching voice acting, but the first thing I ever coached was gymnastics.
Really?
Starting with 4 years old and up, yes.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to talk about gymnastics, but nobody wants to hear about that.
But we're not here for that, are we?
Surprise, everybody's here to watch gymnastics.
Yes, we're going to go do handstands and
Okay,
cartwheels
back-
on the floor after we get done.
All right. So how old were you when you wanted to get into voice acting?
It was after I graduated, so nobody I knew was an actor, and I was working as an accountant because my degree is accounting and I got my MBA, and I was doing accounting and I was like, this is not fun for me. No offense to the accountants out there who are having a blast, but I was not. And so I kind of got interested in acting, and my best friend from high school, he gave me an acting class. I was in Dallas, and I would leave my accounting job. I loved the people I worked with, for the record, but I'd leave my accounting job and kind of sometimes be just beat down and frustrated, and then I go to acting class and go, this is fantastic. Like, I still get chills thinking about it. Like, this is fantastic. How can I turn this into a job? And that's where I started. And that's where, again, I geek out. Like, I may not know how to do something, but I know how to ask questions. I'm not afraid to ask questions. And so that's what I did. And I started taking classes. I asked my teacher, I asked the students I was in class with, how do I do this? And I started with on-camera acting and then got into voice acting.
I was going to ask about that because, you know, like, we're celebrating a ton of voice actors today, you know, in Ani-Medford. But, I mean, I didn't know voice actors was a job that you could actually do. Like, back in the day, it was like, I don't know, I'm a little older, but like, you only saw Looney Tunes or something like that. Like, I never thought about like, oh, that could be a career. So you started on stage or camera? How did that work?
Yeah, not on stage, but on camera. And I'm like you, I watched all of this animated stuff, but I never thought, oh, that could be a job. I just thought, oh, that's really cool to watch. I'm going to go get my accounting degree and move on in life and do something responsible. But yeah,
and have a 401k.
Yes, retirement. Yes. And so when I started realizing you could, you know, be like a normal person and do acting, and at first I thought of on-camera acting. I didn't have a theater background. I think I had done one church play in 8th grade, and that was about it. And I thought, well, this is really cool. And then I learned about voice acting about 2 years into my on-camera acting journey. And actually, Pan was the first thing I auditioned for.
What?
Yes. Well, I had gone to my agent and said, because I did have an agent by then, and I was like, I want to do voice acting. She was like, sweetie, we have professionals. She'd probably kill me if she heard me do her voice like that. We have professional voice actors, so I made my little checklist, and she's like, you need to take classes for voiceover, you need to get a voiceover demo, really all the same things that voice actors need to do now. So I was taking classes, I took a group class, I was taking private classes, I was working on my demo, and in the meantime, I was performing in an improv troupe, and Mike McFarland, we know who he is.
Yeah! Master Roshi.
Director, many other characters, awesome dude in general. He was in another improv troupe. So we were at dinner, and there were about 6 of us, a couple from his troupe, a couple from my troupe, and they were talking about voicing cartoons. That's what I called it at the time. And you know, like I said, I loved cartoons. I loved animated features and shows. And I said, how can I do that? So Mike got me the audition for Dragon Ball GT. Who knew what it would turn into? So I auditioned for Pan, and then went to my agent, and I was like, I booked this, here's your commission. And then she started
I'm a star. Here's your bit.
She was like, oh, okay, so I'll let you audition for other things, other animes, other commercials, etc.
That's amazing.
So like, I was just gonna say, so given that, like, kind of getting into Dragon Ball GT, because it was like the 3rd series at that point, were you familiar with Dragon Ball to that point?
I was not at the time. So it was an introduction to the Dragon Ball world, to the anime world. And of course I fell in love with it and did other anime shows after that. But I guess my circle of friends didn't, I mean, some of my friends, I would quote, you know, Disney or Disney Pixar films, and they're like, why are you quoting animated stuff? You don't have kids, you don't, like, what's going on here? So my circle just didn't watch a lot of animated or anime shows. So this was an introduction to me, and I loved it.
Yeah. Was this in LA or Dallas?
Dallas.
Dallas? That's interesting. So I know you have your own YouTube channel. By the way, everybody should go follow it. Anime Adventures. Super fun, super cool.
Yeah, I did.
Way cooler than us.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I know one of your things is you do your guest's voice or a line with the guest, and you kind of recite it with them or repeat it with them. Since you talked about Master Roshi, can we get your version of Master Roshi real quick?
Give me a line and I'll try to
Can you do some Master Roshi real quick?
My Roshi is terrible, but I can do a Master Roshi.
So my disclaimer is I have to hear, yes, I started doing this, not willing or willing to fail. And I thought, well, if I'm terrible, then there's the humor. And then if I sound like them, then, that's icing on the cake. So I usually have to hear their voice.
So something around like just, you have to focus on your training.
You have to focus on your training.
I
I need to hear it.
That's awesome.
So I'll try to imitate my computer this weekend.
There you go. There you go. I saw one of your videos where I think it was you and Jesse Flowers,
Michaela Murphy.
Yeah,
Michaela
Michaela Murphy.
You know, shout out to
Same show,
Avatar.
way different character.
She played Toph, but you guys sounded so much like each other, and I was like, that's amazing.
I didn't even know at the time because I was just doing my thing and mimicking her.
But it was awesome. It was cool.
But thank you.
I thought it was a cool thing.
Thank you.
Okay,
Both of you guys can just basically top Baughman off each other.
I know. It was a top off.
You can just have a top off. I guess technically, if she can do Pan, you guys can just have Pan off too.
Yeah, she could be Pan.
Yeah.
And top off.
Pan.
Pan top off.
Okay.
That does not sound right.
Okay, sorry. Totally. Switching gears, tell us about some of the other roles that you've landed, how you got them, that sort of thing. And this is so gonna bleed into like voice coaching, just because I know you're a voice coach as well. We have some amazing potential voice actors out there. So, how did you? What other roles did you land? How does one turn into another, Because you played Pan like the entire time.
For, a long time. Video games, you name it. So I did, I don't remember what came next. It may have been Yu Yu Hakusho. There were several that came right after that. I did Case Closed. I played Yoko Okino. And it's funny, I am not a trained singer, but I ended up singing in a couple of shows.
Oh,
Nice.
I love to sing.
Just a few. And what else? And then have done some other fun, I don't know, case closed. What else? I guess I need my resume.
IMDb.
I got it. I'm on it.
And Full Metal Alchemist video game, and I think I had some good parts in the show, not a major show. And then, I did an animation show called Boss Bear, which was much later, but it was fun to actually be part of that process and see the character. It's for kids 2 to 8, so not really the demographic here.
Definitely my demographic.
My demo.
Oh, me totally.
I got 2 5-year-olds and 8-year-olds pregnant.
Yeah.
I'm just a 36-year-old child, so. Just,
But that was fun to see the process, because for that they showed us the process, our characters from conception to actually voicing the show. So it was really cool to be involved from the very beginning and hear what they were thinking and what even the research they had done and how they were appealing to kids and trying to teach kids. So it's been really a fun journey, and I just love everything. I mean, I love commercials, I love corporate videos, I love on camera, I love voiceover. So even my agent makes fun of me. She's like, I know, Elise, you'll do anything. You just love to work. So I will take it all.
So, I mean, that's actually a good segue in. So, I mean, a lot of the fans out there, they see the anime, they see the cartoons, and they love it, and they want to get into voice acting. But voice acting isn't just anime. Like, what are some of the other projects you could book?
Oh, there's so many. And when speaking of coaching, like a lot of people do come to me because of anime and because of character work, because it is so much fun. But to be a working actor, if you want to sustain yourself or make a decent side hustle living, you can do commercials, and that includes radio commercials and TV commercials. Corporate work is underrated, and I love corporate work. So, teaching Pizza Hut employees how to do the register and talk to employees. Talk to customers. They're what else?
I'm
Animation.
just imagining your corporate voice right now.
What?
I'm just imagining your corporate voice right now.
Well, a lot of times it's like this, but I have done work for Pizza Hut. I've done work for Pier 1, so I remember one time going into Pizza Hut, picking up my pizza and going, oh, good job. You greeted me when I walked in. You did a good job on the register. I really liked the way you picked up the phone because I had just done a Pizza Hut training video. Same thing for Pier 1. I worked for them for 10 years doing on-camera, internal and external videos and doing corporate voiceover work. So I also knew if their associates were doing okay. One time somebody was having trouble at the register and I was like, oh, you just do this on the keypad. But, so corporate video games, they're voice prompts for, when you call voicemail, like, hi, thank you for calling Aetna. Press 1 to be connected, there's that type of work. There's so many different genres. Audiobooks, that is a great opportunity for actors because you can also control your schedule and control the work. You can submit yourself for jobs, and then you can even learn to do the engineering. A lot of actors call that their side hustle, even though it's still voice acting. But that's such a great opportunity. So really, like when I talk to students, and what I have done for myself my entire career is whether you call it diversifying your portfolio, like the accountant and money manager I'm married to, or multiple streams of income. The more you can do to get streams of income coming in, then if anime is down and commercial work is up, at least you're kind of balancing out your years, so you still have that revenue being generated.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
That's what my parents were talking about. Diversifying.
Diversify your bonds.
I know, right? Sorry, okay, let's get back to it. Let's talk about the recording process. I'm always fascinated talking to voice actors, and hearing about what happens behind the scenes. When you recorded the show, did you record in studio with other voice actors?
No, so if we're talking about Dragon Ball GT, and anime in general, you record just by yourself, unless there's one exception that I mean to tell you about. But so anime is very technical, and some of you may know this because you've watched behind the scenes or whatever.
Yes, I have.
You will see one computer monitor that has the script on there, usually an Excel spreadsheet format, and then another monitor with the anime on screen. So they'll do playback, so you can kind of see what the flaps look like. You'll grab your line. So if it's, Grandpa.
James loves the term "how flaps." It cracks him up every time.
So they'll play it. You can see what the flaps look like. You grab your line, and they usually just have 3 max or something on average. So it's not like you're doing a monologue that you're trying to match flaps. And then you get beeps, so it'll go beep, beep, beep. And on what would be the 4th beep, then you say your line. And they'll go, oh, fantastic, you got it. Or, oh, we need to do that again. Or the engineer might be able to, if I said, oh, I went to the store. They may go, oh, that was so close. I think the engineer can squeeze it in and make it work. So that's what the process is for anime, and that's why you can only have one person recording at a time. Unless it's Walla, if you've ever heard that term, where maybe they are trying to have, if there's a scene with 100 people, they may put 4 people in a booth, and you're all doing stuff like, oh, go, get them, yeah, you got it. And there are 4 of us, and then they just replicate those voices to make it sound like there's a whole crowd. And then video games, we're not matching flaps. A lot of times we're just matching the length of the audio. So if a Japanese actor goes, kami, kami, ha, and it's super fast, then we just match the length of their audio. Animation is different, where pre-COVID at least, like for Boz the Bear, the 6 lead characters were in one room and you could kind of react off each other. So it's kind of different for each medium.
And I'm sure when you do studio acting like that, when all of you guys are in the same studio, there's a lot more kind of play, improv, and kind of just playing off of each other and getting reactions. Kind of adds to the acting element.
Yeah, you can, like you said, you can react almost like you were doing an on-camera scene where you can react off the person. And then when it comes to improv, they let you know, yes, you can improvise, or no, in this case, we're going to stick straight to script. But it is pretty cool to act and react off other actors.
That's cool.
I've always heard about how much more fun that is because it's like it's what you don't hear that is the funniest parts.
Yeah.
Because it's just all the stuff that was not recorded and it's like you guys just doing characters with each other but like saying fun stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Well, or you start laughing and you something funny comes up and you're all laughing and they have to stop because they're like, okay, we are trying to record. I think Peter has some funny stories.
Oh, he's got
about-
some good ones.
Yes, I've heard him tell some funny stories about it
Specifically
getting
for
out of
Ed and
control. What?
Specifically for Ed and Eddie.
Yes.
He said he would make it his mission to make everybody laugh so hard that they can continue doing their things.
That was my next question. Like, do you have any fond memories of the recording process on any of your projects, whether it's anime or video games or voiceover? anything like
Oh,
that?
so many. And I remember when I was recording for Pan in those first, I'd say 5 to 10 episodes, I had a few moments that were just surreal, like, how can I do that? I used to be an accountant, and I'm going to do this. So I had some moments like that, and then I just think it's so much fun. So that's part of it. I mean, still to this day, I'm like, I could be doing accounting, but I'm not. What else? There are times, and I think I may have told y'all this story last time, but one time recording for Pam, because I'm a very physical actor, so if I have to do a miniature version of that or kick. So one time when I was in a fight scene for Pan, I did kick the microphone and looked over, and the director and the engineer, both of their faces were just hanging on like a ghost. And I didn't break anything, so it was okay. They're like, could you just, maybe tone it down a little
But
bit?
equipment is really expensive.
Yeah, we don't want to mess this up.
And I need you to not touch the Neumann.
Yeah. We're gonna need you to, not touch
All
that.
right, by the way, we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A. So if you have questions, get them ready. We got a mic set up. We'll make sure to give you some time. I tend to get lost in these conversations, so I'm telling you right now, we'll make sure to get to you soon, okay? I'm sure I'm stealing some of these questions, but what are some of the very beginning tips of advice you can give a potential voice actor in the audience?
Well, study with somebody if you can, because some of it is just, I feel like when I work with people, it's just, you just need to know what to do. That's when I got started, I didn't know actors, I just needed to know what to do. And then if you take a group class, the benefit too is you're in there with other students, so they can say, oh, I got my voiceover demo done by this studio, and here's the equipment I bought and I'm liking it. And then if you don't have the budget to study with somebody, start recording and record, even if it's just on your phone, and listen to yourself back, because I always say, whether it's on camera reading teleprompter or it's voiceover, you have to be able to read well. And it sounds so simple, but be able to read well and then direct yourself, because these days 99.9% of auditions are done from home. Some of the recording's done in studio, but some of my jobs are done from home, so you have to direct yourself. So you have to be able to listen, then listen or record, then listen back and go, oh, I need to amp up the energy because they said they wanted an energetic read, or they wanted a mature, lower realistic sound. So it's just being able to self-direct and have an awareness of that. So those are two of the main things I would start with. And then some of it is just having somebody tell you certain things, like where to get a microphone. You don't have to spend a lot, like how far do you stand from the microphone? How do you submit your auditions? There are industry standards as far as labeling, how to slate your name, which just means say your name either before or after the audition. So some of it is not rocket science, it's just having somebody tell you what to do. And knowing how to submit to agents, where to submit on your own if you're not going to go the agency route.
That's super interesting, like going back to what you said, like directing yourself, because being able to wear those different types of hats, like it's not just you and your voice and the characters you even do, but like how can you take critique and how can you improve? That's
And
interesting.
it's hard because you can't necessarily be in your head while you're acting, because you have to act, and then you have to listen and then direct, because otherwise you're analyzing yourself while you're reading the script. So it is a technique and a skill that you have to learn and practice.
That's cool. I'm super fascinated. Okay, so let's keep going. How about finding a character, like backstories? How do you get into the character? Like, what questions do you ask, say, a director or a producer or a writer even, like, to get into the character?
Yeah, well sometimes, so if it's something where you book a job and you go to an anime booking and you don't know much or you don't know what you're doing, because that can happen, the directors are so good, like at Crunchyroll and other studios, they're so good about going, okay, here's your character, here's what the show is about, here's what's happening for your character in the show, and then this is what's happening in the scene. So they give you so much, and then you have to make decisions on the fly. Now, if it's something that you can prepare for, where you have a little more time, and you will hear this from a lot of directors and teachers, there are questions you can ask, like who, what, when, where, why. So who am I? Who am I speaking to? What's happening in the scene? Where am I? Even like what time of day? Why am I saying these things? So you can ask those questions, and then if you want to change something up, change any one of those elements up. So
Easy breakdown.
yeah, it depends how much time you have. But I mean, even from the days where I was living in LA taking TV and film classes, we always ask those questions: who, what, when, where, why? What's your intention? So it applies whether you're doing. That's a cool thing. It's acting, and you'll hear actors say that on campus, or directors, or casting directors. It's acting. It's just, are you doing it for theater? Are you doing it for film? Are you doing it for voice acting? And knowing how to adjust.
Do you prefer one over the other, voice acting or camera acting?
I love it all.
You
And
love
I love the variety. I love that I get to do an on-camera commercial one day and a video game, like a voiceover for a video game the next
You
day.
just like creating characters. You just like creating characters.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. All right, before we begin, let's do the Q&A. Are we cool with the Q&A?
Yeah,
Let's do the
absolutely.
Q&A. All right, if you have a question, raise your hand. Come on up.